Welcome back to Scene Rundown. Let us watch Episode 2 of Shogun, Servants of Two Masters. Episode 2 opens with the reigning Taiko on his deathbed in 1599, 1 year before the events that transpire in the show's present timeline. Privately, he offered Lord Toranaga the chance to serve as Japan's only regent until Yaechio reached adulthood. He ordered him to protect the life of his son. However, Toranaga turned down the offer and put forth the notion of a five-regent system because he was certain that the other lords would assassinate him and then target Yaechio as soon as he took the throne. That demonstrated Toranaga's survival skills and foresight. In the present, Portuguese Father Delacqua is speaking with Spanish ship Captain Rodriguez and Father Martin Alvito, the Council of Regents translator, about John and the horrors he has perpetrated. Rodriguez gives Blackthorne's confiscated rudder and journal, which contains a description of the Spanish and Portuguese trade secrets, to the Jesuits. Martin draws Delacqua's attention to something that makes him take the situation seriously, banishes Rodriguez, and emphasizes the need to keep past entanglements between the Portuguese and the English hidden. Martin races to the meeting between Toranaga, John, and Mariko, who is there ostensibly to learn Portuguese. They take their time to make sure Father Martin is not giving Mariko and Toranaga false impressions of John. Then, with the aid of some editing and sound design decisions, it develops into a discussion between John and Toranaga, his intense religious preferences and allegiances. Lord Ishido intervenes, requesting that John be put in jail so that Toranaga can concentrate on bringing Lady Ochiba back and his post-impeachment schemes. Sending John to jail is Toranaga's way of avoiding giving Ishido undue aggravation, especially when he's so close to coming up with a plan to take out Ishido. He maintains a cool demeanor. John cries out against his incarceration, not knowing what has just happened to him, but no one pays him any attention. As she talks about the barbarian John, Mariko appears to be enjoying a special moment with her kid in the Toda home. Mariko's husband exposes his sexism and insecurities by berating her for taking up a place intended for men. The moment Hiromatsu storms in and tells Mariko to go to a meeting with Toranaga instead of her husband, his conceit takes a serious knock. Mariko speaks amicably but humorously with Hiromatsu, Toranaga, and Lady Kiri and Lady Shizu before discussing their plan with them. Mariko then shares her thoughts about John. She believes Toranaga would be foolish to undervalue him since he is dangerous. When they discuss whether or not Mariko is disturbed by John's lack of faith, she responds that she won't know whether it's genuine until her Christian faith has been put to the test. When General Hiromatsu starts to get impatient, he asks Toranaga why they are spending so much time with John. Toranaga basically restates what Yabushige had stated in the first episode. The Portuguese find John being an English Protestant annoying, thus they would ask Kiyama and Ono, the Christian regents, to have him killed. That will lead to conflict between the Christian regents and Ishido. The regents won't band together to remove Toranaga from office if they are not in agreement. His impeachment needs the four regents to vote unanimously. With any luck, Toranaga will be able to remove Ishido from the council by using that to target him specifically. When the action moves to the prison, John encounters a fellow prisoner, Father Domingo, who serves as his advisor, essentially informing him that his prospects of surviving are slim if Toranaga has identified John as an ally in his current political role. In the regents' meeting, Ishido tells Kiyama, Ono, and Sugiyama that Lady Ochiba, the future Taiko's mother, is going back to Osaka during their meeting. Ishido requests that the regents now vote to impeach Toranaga because his demand has been granted. Anticipating this, the Christian regents ask for John's execution prior to the vote, delaying the impeachment process. The priest gives John a long, drawn-out exposition dump. He begins by describing the Minawara ancestry of Toranaga, a powerful family in feudal Japan. Domingo explains that Toranaga is one of 5 competing samurai warlords attempting to ascend to the position of Shogun, the military governor of Japan, a position vacant since 1573. He also informs Blackthorne that Toranaga is currently losing and that the Portuguese black ship has been taking the vast profits from the silk trade between China and Japan back to Europe. They are using a secret military base in Macau guarded by Catholic converted Ronin, and that the Portuguese had previously smuggled guns to Japan to incite an uprising despite the late Taiko's best efforts to put an end to it. At that point, John discloses that he met a man who claimed to have visited this legendary Macau castle. The twist, though, is that none of this is known to the regents. Before John can alert Toranaga to this, he must first be released from custody. In a brief scene, Martin responds that talks are still ongoing when the captain of a ship named Ferreira asks about when he will be able to return his black ship to free waters. After that, Martin speaks briefly with Mariko and advises her to exercise caution around John as he is a violent man. When Ishido visits Yabushige in the middle of all of this, he essentially begs Yabushige to support him. Ishido asks what Toranaga would want from Blackthorne. Yabushige explains that his ship Erasmus has 20 cannons and hundreds of guns. "But that is not new. We also have that in Japan," replied Ishido. If Toranaga is slain and impeached, Yabushige reproposes his plan of utilizing John. Ishido claims to have issued the order to put John to death. In the last moments of Shogun Episode 2, when Blackthorne is taken to be executed by Kiyama's men, he is rescued by Yabushige and his samurai posing as bandits. He maintains his scheme to use John as a weapon against the Christian regents. Although Toranaga doesn't seem to be fooled by Yabushige's deceit, he asks John to describe everything he has learned from his marine travels. In this second interview with Toranaga, with Mariko serving this time as sole translator, Blackthorne explains that Portugal and Spain have divided the world among themselves. He reveals that their end goal is to replace all non-Catholic governments with Catholic ones and shares the existence of the secret base in Macau. Toranaga, Mariko, and all Japanese listening are shocked to hear how all of Japan belongs to the King of Portugal. Toranaga is troubled by this and finds out if John subscribes to the notion that the enemy of my enemy is a friend. Toranaga grants him permission to remain in his quarters when he declares his desire to defeat the Portuguese. Mariko has given John 3 assistants for his bath, but John said he already had 2 baths this week, one in prison. A brief exchange between John and Mariko most likely plants the seeds for a hate-to-love storyline. Mariko is thinking how true his story was about the Portuguese. That night, Toranaga, being in charge of foreign affairs, denies Martin's request to let Ferreira board his black ship as a result of John's allegations. Toranaga even went further by saying that they should investigate this Portuguese bases. Because of this setback, it is later revealed that Lord Kiyama and Father Delacqua is devising a plan to deal with Blackthorne. It appears that an assassin tries to kill Toranaga later that night. But after killing the assassin, Toranaga notices that she went to John's room rather than the quarters he was meant to be sleeping in. This means that someone made an attempt on John's life because they realized he was fast emerging as the most important political player in the regent's power struggle. Ishido may not be the suspect since he and Yabushige wish to make use of John. Nevertheless, we will have to wait until the next episode unfold. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for the next videos.